All right, guys, welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another live stream. Happy Monday. All right, there's a lot going in the markets. The markets are tanking, especially when it comes to the crypto market, and then equities as well. We're not doing as good, but some things that are contributing to the crash. Um, there was just I was reading the the attack. I think it was Iran on Israel. So that's that back and forth. And then we still have it was Palestine and Israel. Well, it's still going on, but I guess this is a some new things that transpired in the last few days. And then also we still have the war going on in Russia, between Russia and Ukraine. So we have all those things boiling up and transpiring. So the market reacted to that today and then over the weekend. The crypto market is 24/7. So I think the crash came in around Saturday and Sunday, and it's continuing today. And then also we're seeing it in equities as well. Also, inflation, right? So we are waiting for the interest rate cuts. Most likely, we're not going to get those until the end of the year. And, well, I wouldn't say the end of the year, but like towards the end of the year. So, third quarter, fourth quarter. So, we have a lot of things contributing to prices going down. So, yeah, let's take a look at the markets and let's see how they are doing. Let's look at the major indexes. All right, so if we look at the S&P is down, the Dow's down, Nasdaq, everything's down all around except for gold, right? So, wow, and actually gold, it says gold's up 25%. So let's look at the gold chart. Was this in the last few days? Let's see. Wow, gold has gone up. It says it's gone up 25, or is it 1%? So from $2,365 to $2,400. So yeah, it's up. I thought it was up 26%. It's up only 1%. But still, I mean, it's a decent jump looking at the chart. All right. So yeah, the overall markets are down for equities. Let's take a look at some plays here. Let's take a look at Nvidia and let's see what Nvidia is doing. All right, so Nvidia is taking a little dip too. I think in general, I think Nvidia's chart is ready for a correction. If you take a look here, it's just ran up a lot. Like if you look at the chart, I mean it's ran up. This is a 250 mark, so you're looking like 150 all the way to $850. So it's a $700 jump. I think it's due for a correction, and it's aligning with the crypto market as well. We're seeing Bitcoin do a correction as well. We are moving into the halving. So typically, if you look at historically at Bitcoin's chart, it does take a dip the months following the halving, but then we see a crazy spike right after that. So yeah, it could be different. Like I said, it could be different this cycle. I've been mentioning it over and over that now during this cycle we have institutional investors coming in, so it could definitely shorten the amount of time that Bitcoin crashes after the halving, because we have this surplus of demand and this cut in supply. So I think that's gonna definitely affect the markets. And we'll definitely go into an altcoin rally, because when we get into the chart, we'll see. I don't want to talk too much about crypto until we get to the charts. But let's take a look at some other stocks. Let's see how Tesla's doing. I think when I looked at Tesla over the weekend, I think it was at 171. Oh wow! So Tesla It was at like 171 this weekend, and now it's at 161, $161.48. So yeah, nice little dip here. Hopefully, like I said, Tesla is like a play that I want to get into, but after I make my gains in the crypto space, so if I end up getting out at a time where Tesla's, let's just say at 120, I hope I get out of crypto and Tesla's like at 120 or 110, and that I can, take a big position in Tesla. Because I definitely think it's like a $250 stock right now. And then when they start rolling out more factories, I don't know if they're coming out with more, I think they are coming out with more factories, but overall just more production. And I heard something about the robo taxi. They're coming out with some type of taxi, and I think they left their plans of doing they were planning on doing the cheaper Model 3 that was going to cost like 25K, but I think they abandoned those plans, and now they're moving on to the robo taxi. So yeah, I hope by the end of the year, Tesla, and this is probably not going to happen because we are going to get the interest rate cuts. So I don't. As soon as that happens, Tesla is definitely going to spike. So I probably won't be able to get it under 200, but just depends on how much it crashes though. Because if it crashes to, let's just say 110, 120, maybe it picks up towards the end of the year when they start cutting interest rates, and maybe I could pick it up back at 160. Right, I'll be lucky to do that. But yeah, I do want to take a big position in one of those with the crypto gains. So I'm watching out, especially the AI plays too. We have some other AI plays. I was looking at another one, SMIC. So they also do microchips, but it's just like a lower market cap than Nvidia. Nvidia is I think it's like $2 trillion company, when this is like a $51 billion company. So there's just much more room to grow, and you gotta definitely consider those things when you're investing. That's why I would probably invest in Tesla before I invest in Nvidia, even though I think Nvidia, if the demand for AI, which is going to continue to go up, I think they could be a $5 to $6 trillion company in the next 2 to 3 years easily. But it's just going to be harder when you're already in the $1 trillion market cap. It's just going to take a lot of inflow, a lot of demand. Right now, it's a lot of speculation, I would say. I mean, I know people are using a lot of AI, but the thing is, in my opinion, it's a lot of speculation in the sense that, yeah, companies are using it, but people are not mass using it. I think once you start seeing it, maybe like you have an AI fast food restaurant. Once you start seeing it, like the difference between, and you probably won't see it because they're chips. But what I'm saying is like people using it on a day-to-day basis. Like you see the Tesla cars everywhere. And I'm not saying AI is not used in a lot of places. It's just not, it just needs to, it's going to take a lot more money, a lot more demand. Like for instance, like in the crypto space, we were waiting for years and years and years for the spot BTC ETF to get approved. And now we're seeing institutional investors in. That's going to roll down to people investing in Bitcoin in their 401ks and things like that. So that's kind of the type of adoption we want to see with the AI. It's going to come. It just needs to come in the right form, right? Again, people are using a lot of chips. Right, but then we need to see the play, like the action after that. Okay, they put it in their chip, they put it in their chips, and what product is going to be used each and every day for AI, right? Which company is going to win? So I think there's going to take some time, and that's why you're seeing a lot of these AI plays overextended. I mean, if you look at this chart, it's very similar to Nvidia, and they almost have the same price, just different market cap because this is 51 billion. But if you look at Nvidia, right? So same type of chart. We go to the all chart. Same type of chart. It's up. It's extended. So I think there's definitely a crash waiting, maybe around this 600 mark. The last support level is right around this 500 to high 400 area. So I think it's going to correct. I think the hype is still there. I think people are still interested, but I think it's going to correct, right? Because I think it's more the speculation phase. Like everybody's, oh, AI is going to do this, AI is going to do that, AI is going to replace this, AI is going to do this. But we really haven't seen that yet. So I think definitely we're seeing the start of the correction, right? So another one is TSM. It's another semiconductor. It's at 140. This one's a higher market cap. It's at 726 billion. But I think they work with Nvidia. I think they make a lot of work with Nvidia to make the chips. I like Nvidia stock, but this is thing. But yeah, basically another semiconductor company. This one, I think it has a lot of potential too. Could probably be a $2 trillion company. When Nvidia reaches 5 to 6 trillion, this will probably be like a $2 trillion company. So you probably could definitely see a 2 to 3x from here, but it's not going to be anytime soon because if we go to the all-time chart, this one's not as like overextended. It already had its crash, so maybe this one goes up. Maybe this one continues up. Now I'm not looking. I didn't look at this chart recently, but this one looked like it's had its correction and it's on its way up, and it hasn't crossed that $1 trillion mark. So I think this one would definitely be more favorable. Again, not investment advice, but this would be more favorable to invest in if you were looking for something similar to Nvidia, right? Lower market cap, already had its correction, and it's on its way up. Now, not saying it can't have another correction, but this chart doesn't look as overextended as SMCI and Nvidia. We pulled Tesla up, but we didn't look at the overall chart. I gotta look at the overall chart really quick. All right. So yeah, if we look at the overall chart, Tesla's having its correction, right? It came down from all the way 300 and something dollars all the way down to 160. And yeah, so hopefully, like I said, for people that want to get in, hopefully it does a little bit more of a crash. And maybe we get down all the way to 100, 110. If we break 100, it would be definitely a steal. But I definitely think if we broke 100, like people will be loading in on Tesla. And you can see the last support is really around that 118, 120 area. So look out for that. Looks like it's heading towards there, but it will definitely be a lot of buys be in that 120 area. I think that would be a steal because like I said, I think Tesla is at least a $250 to $350 worth stock. I think it's at least $1 trillion company for sure. And it's the number one EV company. So it's at 514 billion. I think it's at least worth double that. So we're looking at around $320. But again, it has to perform, it has to deliver when it comes to new technology or new cars and new technology, new services. And when earnings comes out and their performance comes out, it needs to be in the green, right? It can't be in a deficit. If not, it's not going to get back to that $350 area anytime soon. But I definitely think it's going to get there most likely in the next 5 years, especially when we start cutting interest rates, like I said. Okay, so going to crypto. I think right now there's definitely a good opportunity in crypto. I think that we're seeing it, and I was looking at this. I was thinking this cycle was going to be different, but honestly, I think it's going to be the same as previous years. Now, the only when I say the same, I'm talking about the the action that or the yeah, the action that Bitcoin takes after the halving. So let me pull up the chart. The reason why I thought it was going to be different was because it broke its all-time highs of around 68. Again, you can't see it on this chart, but the all-time highs from previous the previous bull run was around 69 70K. It broke that. We got to like 74, and this is prior to the halving. The halving is happening this week. It's going to be Friday or Thursday sometime, one of those days. And that's why I thought this was going to be a little bit different. But what's making me think that it's going to be the same is this recent crash that we had. It's been rejecting 74K for a minute now. And I think we go lower than that. Maybe, like I said, Bitcoin. Now, for some altcoins, I think if Bitcoin crashes, obviously the whole market usually tanks. But I think there's a few altcoins out there with strong narratives that will override the crash, or at least sustain some of its gains. And so if we crash all the way to, let's just say, 55 to $60,000 area, I think from there it'll probably consolidate for a couple months, and then we'll get the run up that we usually see after the halving, right? Because the clock usually starts after the halving. After the halving this Thursday or Friday, we are going to get a pump sometime in July or August. We'll start to see that, maybe even sooner. Like I said, there's demand. People know the cycle. And this time around, we have institutional money coming in and pumping up the market. So it's definitely it's going to be different in the sense that prices probably will go a lot higher, but not in the sense of like going straight up and slight pullbacks. I still think we're going to get a good pullback, and I think this is the start of it. We had a sharp rejection again. Like I said in the beginning, it was partially because of people were saying like World War III, what this Iran attack on Israel, and all the stuff again, Russia with Ukraine, and all that stuff, Palestine and Israel as well. So yeah, that all contributed to the crash, and then also the pushback of interest rates. So yeah, so Bitcoin's chart is dipping right now. Hopefully, I'm trying to look at the chart. So really, the next support area, technically, I wouldn't really count. 63 would kind of be support. So this is what it's testing right now. If we break through 60, I think the next support area is 47 to 50. So we could definitely see a crash there. But it's going to take a lot of buying pressure to break it through its all-time highs. But again, we're going into the halving. So I think with the amount of buying pressure and the cut of supply, I think that's going to maybe push this through to all-time highs sooner than we think. But yeah, so yeah, look, that's Bitcoin. And then another thing was right now in the Ethereum space, there is, attack on some of the DeFi coins, or just specifically Uniswap, the biggest DeFi coin. And I don't really think much is going to come out of that. I think the SEC is just throwing stuff out. It's the biggest DeFi play. I mean, these these decentralized exchanges have been around for a while, and I think since the Ethereum spot ETF that was supposed to get approved in May, they're most likely going to push it back. I think they were just, they're putting out things so they don't have to approve it. And right now, Ethereum didn't make its all-time highs. The next, I was watching the Coin Bureau, and they were saying the next event for Ethereum is the Petra update, and I'm trying to recall what that update I think it was like smart contract compatibility with other chains to make it easier to interact with other chains. I think that's what the Pectra upgrade is going to be for. I haven't researched too much in it. I just saw what they were saying on the Coin Bureau. And so, yeah, Ethereum is definitely a good hold going into the bull run. I think you can't go wrong with BTC and Ethereum. But as far as we did have the recent upgrade where they're making fees cheaper, but I was hearing people say that fees on Ethereum are still a little bit high. I don't really interact with it. I do some stuff. I mean, I may move some coins every now and then, but I don't really interact with it to know to know if the fees are just outrageous. But I think people tolerate it because the gains are so big. If you're paying a $20, $30 fee, you're not really thinking about it. Like I think in crypto, like people don't really think about those type of fees because the gains are so big. I think once the space matures, then those $20, $30 fees to send somebody some money would be a big deal. But when you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, you don't mind paying a $40, $50 fee to send your money over. But I think later that's going to be a big thing for people. I don't think people are going to want to pay all those fees to send over a few $1,000. So, yeah. But again, it's a number two coin is definitely going to do good. I definitely see it being a 10 high, high. I would say the highest probably like 10,000, 10 to 12,000. Safely, I think we could get to 75 to 8,500 this bull run. Maybe a lot higher depending on what narratives come out. Definitely in the Ethereum ecosystem, I think the altcoins have the best potential, and also the layer twos coming out for Bitcoin and the ordinals and all that stuff, all those narratives that are taking place in the space. And let's look at some of the other top gainers. Let's see, 24-hour gainers. All right, so Core, I have no idea what that is. OKB, don't know what that is. Polygon, nope. So yeah, a lot of the top gainers, I have no idea what they are, because most of the stuff is crashing. There's some stuff that are keeping their gains, and it's probably because they're coming out with upgrades. They're trying to, sometimes they'll push certain news out so that way they can withstand the dip that we're seeing right now. A lot of these projects, they don't really have much going on, but they always come out with news saying, "Oh, we're coming out with this, or we're rolling out this," so that way people don't just go and sell off, or people are optimistic about the future for the project. Oh, also, look right there. Hong Kong just approved a spot BTC ETF and Ethereum ETF as well. It seems like in other countries they just roll out this stuff. Like we take years to go through it, and they're like, screw it. Like we're just gonna roll out the ETF, the Ethereum ETF. We're gonna roll out the Bitcoin ETF. They don't care. Like other countries just roll it out. Like even what's that? El Salvador. El Salvador. They just adopted Bitcoin as their legal tender. Right? I feel like other countries just jump in, and maybe it's because their currency is not as reliable as the US dollar. And again, the US is the most powerful nation in the world, so I can see why we don't just roll out stuff, and we want to maintain that power. So it doesn't really suit us to co-sign or adopt Bitcoin as the reserve currency. And I don't think they're going to do that here. But you definitely see U.S. buying it up because they know they have to buy it up just in case if somehow this does become the reserve currency. They have a big stockpile, and they're not beholden to other countries that have more BTC than them or more Ethereum than them. So, but they're not going to approve the Ethereum ETF anytime soon. In my opinion, it'll probably if they do, it'll maybe be at the end of the year, but maybe going into 2025 they'll approve it. I think that'll probably be more of a play for the next bull run. But who knows? Maybe it comes towards the end of this bull run and they approve it because they just, like I said, just approved the Bitcoin ETF. But the thing, they just came out with like investigations and stuff like that with the Ethereum Foundation, and then again the Uniswap lawsuit or the Walls notice. So those are things that are holding the approval back, but we'll see. We'll see at the end of the year. We're definitely going to have a bull run, and it should be interesting. And if you guys look to the right, the Fear and Greed Index, like I said, once that gets to around 90, like you'll know. And it fluctuates each and every day. Tomorrow we might be at 75, but today I think we were at like 75 last week. But with this recent crash, it's at 65. The greed is not there anymore. But I'm pretty sure after this halving, which is going to happen this week, it'll go up. But yeah, let's look at some news here, and then we'll probably be done soon. So it says profit surge at Goldman Sachs on Wall Street revival. Blackstone revised potential sale of Motel 6 brand owner. Lockheed used this to contract worth $7 billion. When I used to do like penny stocks and stuff, I always used to see this for some of the penny stocks. They would just come out with news articles saying we just got a contract this, and the penny stock would just shoot up. And that's how people make money in penny stocks. They just come out with stuff saying, "Oh yeah, we just got a contract with Nvidia, or we just got a contract with Tesla," and it's really not a contract with them. It's probably like another company that it's like similar, but they just use it in the article. It says big tech leads stock slide as S&P 500 heads back towards 5,000. And remember, in one of the last live streams, the prediction, some experts predicted the S&P to be at 5,400. And what is that now? It is at S&P's at 5,061. So it's getting close to that 5,000 mark. So we'll see. I think it could definitely hit the 5,400 by the end of the year. But yeah, that's pretty much it today. We'll keep an eye on the market. We'll keep an eye on crypto, especially as the halving occurs this week. And we'll see when the bull market begins, the actual bull market, the crazy bull market begins. I think we're already in the bull market right now. I think it's just a correction that we're going through. And for those of you that, not financial advice, but probably a good time to probably research and maybe get into some positions before we actually get into the bull market. But yeah, that's it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.